they leave it there for the next group of native indigenous people. Another question? Well, it's different from the Tauromaras and for the Huicholes. The Huicholes, they have like their own gods and their own religion. Um, they use peyote, which is a plant that is built in the cactus. And when they consume peyote, they can see dreams, visions, and that's the way of their feeling better. They can see their gods and they represent them through the peyote. Yes, you can say that. It's like a drug.
Well, their religion, like you said, is combined between the Catholic and their own. So they celebrate Easter, and they have like this little play, and they represent the missionaries. In the play, they dress differently. They paint themselves be in like soldiers, and some like missionaries. So yeah, they do that in the Easter. For example, in jobs, the payment is less for women than for men. They have more opportunities, men, in studying, for example, and work, and basically almost everything. They have like more opportunities. They're more able to do more stuff than women.
So because the woman stays at home, they don't have much prior knowledge as the men, so they don't have like specific jobs that men can do, or they know how to do it, and also the people like discriminate the women just because they're women, and they don't give them like specific jobs maybe they can do, but they don't like want to see if women can do it because they don't want to.
And it's very common that in Mexico society, the woman stays at home, like Valentina said. They stay at home, and it's really rare a woman succeeding, like in studying, for example. When a, a woman uh, like has a degree, a higher degree, it's really not discriminate. Well, it is discriminated by others women who doesn't have that degree, because it's a machista society.
But thankfully that has changed like through the years. Maybe I don't know, 50 years ago, women, it was like so rare if they have like a degree or like a special job. But now women are like standing out for themselves. That's really good, and they're having like really great jobs, really good opportunities. Thanks to like we started to stand out for ourselves.
I just wanted to add on to sort of talk just about different expectations for men versus women, even, in Mexico and even sometimes in America from the stories that I've heard from my parents. So, I mean, the whole thing about staying at home, it's sort of, you know, let's say if women in Mexico don't get married, they're expected to then take care of their parents, and be able to be with them, and be able to take care of them when they're a lot older. So I mean, those are the expectations. While the men, if they're unmarried, they're not expected to take care of their parents. They're just either expected to either maybe just stay at home or to work. But I mean, like you guys have said, that is slowly evolving. But I mean, I would say that there are even some similarities in between American culture and Mexican culture as well. There's still inequality in payments and salary between men and women. they're still being discriminated as well. So I mean, just to put that into perspective.
Well, the indigenous women, there's like a really like huge discrimination because they can't do something about it, and not like women from Mexico like us. Maybe we're being discriminated, we can do something about it, we can stand for ourselves. But maybe in a native group, they don't have that much opportunity. Legally, oh, well, you can vote. Um, like back in the days, you can't vote it, but now you can. So legally, you can do is like if someone doesn't like let you work, you can like look for the article when it says like you can and stand for yourself. Like here it says I can and I can. So how you can study because sometimes you tell like an indigenous woman you can't do that and that's like oh I can't okay, but because they don't maybe they care but they don't show it. So because they're used to be a minority, but they are not. So if they have like a little bit more of respect for themselves, they can show that they're they're bigger.
Nowadays, there are a lot of changes in Mexico. Like we said, women are now standing more for themselves. So, for example, now there are candidates for government, and that it's a way of improving institutionally. If a woman is a government, well, obviously it will be better for women, and it will evolve the way of thinking and everything. I think working. Well, I'm still not in that area because I'm still studying, but I think of what I heard, I think it's really hard for a woman to succeed. It is possible, but it's harder, and mo- most men like discriminate them, and they push them down, and they try them to just not let them grow, and some women already think that, and they just don't do anything about it because they are like they're teach to be like that, and they are not they don't want to stand for them because they through the years they have done that their entire life. But I think working is the harder thing. This is the more challenging thing.
Well, I think what everybody sees in the news, I don't think drugs or human traffic is the biggest problem in Mexico. I think it's also working. Like there is also a huge like a problem in drugs or whatever, but I think that's in the news because that's what people want to see. But the really struggle in Mexico, it can be like work and studies and they education in Mexico. It's a really big problem.
I mean, I can definitely agree with sort of saying that, especially when you turn on the news and media, all you see is the cartels and all the violence. And not to say that that isn't true. Obviously, there are so many people who are affected by the violence and the intimidation. But I think that just goes back to sort of going back to the corruption and the lack of transparency in the government. And I think that connects to a lot of things as to why there is not being a lot of policies being pushed forward that actually protect more rights for just the working class people, for women, for those who are marginalized, the indigenous. And I think that's from what I see the root of the problem.
Another thing.
Thank you so much. It was very informative session regarding culture and history of Mexico. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Hope you learned. Thank you so much.